Today, I'm going to be talking about end-of-life discussions. In particular, what you need to know to start one with your family. You have decided to have an end-of-life conversation with your family. So how are you actually going to introduce your end-of-life conversation, especially with older parents? Well, today I'm going to provide you with 6 great practical ideas on how you could actually start an end-of-life conversation with your family. That will make it easier and less uncomfortable for you and increase the chances your family will want to listen to what you have to say. Because it doesn't matter how much prior thought and planning you have put into this part of your end-of-life planning, it won't amount to much if you cannot think how to actually broach the subject with your family. Hi, it's Jeffrey here from Plan Wishes, where we bring you the best end-of-life and non-financial retirement insights, practical tips and resources to assist you to navigate the issues you will confront. This video is part of our end-of-life planning series, focusing on how to start an end-of-life conversation with loved ones. All the links to everything I've mentioned in this video can be found in the description box below. Now, let's get started. I do understand the dilemma you can have when you think about how am I going to actually start my end-of-life discussion with the family. From experience, starting an end-of-life conversation with your family, especially parents, can be unnerving. It can also be uncomfortable, tinged with trepidation. I can help you overcome your uncertainty about talking about this topic. This topic is one of the most uncomfortable conversations people believe they can have. However, as I've stated previously, death is 100% guaranteed. It can happen at any time and it happens every day. But we are so frightened to talk about it. Sadly, most people spend more time planning a holiday than planning what is important to them and communicate their wishes for their future care in the unfortunate eventuality they can become seriously ill, injured, or even die. Unless you tell your family what you want to occur and have it documented, it is left up to others to decide your fate. When do you think you will realise you have left having this difficult conversation too late? To say all the things you have ever wanted and needed to say to your loved ones, or made the necessary arrangements to secure their financial future? Will it be when you are lying in bed in the intensive care unit of a hospital, suffering a life-threatening injury or illness? Most probably. Or when you have been admitted to palliative care. You then will wish you had the discussion much earlier. Starting an end-of-life conversation is not just for older members of the community. With the outbreak of COVID-19 and how fast it can change your life and kill people of all ages, we should not delay in having an end-of-life discussion with the family now. If you have been following us, you're probably aware that end-of-life planning requires a fair amount of thought and planning. The following tips will make starting an end-of-life conversation process less difficult for you, with the aim that you will be sharing what matters most to you concerning your end of life and your final last wishes. Firstly, a question I have for you. If you did start having an end-of-life conversation, I would like to hear how it went for you. What was the most challenging aspect of having the discussion? Please let me know about your experience in the comments section below. How are you going to start your end-of-life discussion? The reason we have these tips on how to start an end-of-life discussion is to ensure you receive the best reception to this very important topic and not have it dismissed without necessary consideration that you would want. Therefore, the way you introduce the discussion with family, especially elderly parents, is essential to increase their willingness to listen to what you have to say. The following end-of-life discussion starters or introductions will help you introduce the topic and start the conversation that you have been planning for and ensure the best chance of it being received favourably with other family members. Firstly, relate it to your parents' previous experience. Begin by asking your parents to tell the story of the circumstances of how one of their parents died or a family friend. They will often record details that they have of the event. This can provide you with an opportunity to begin your conversation with them. An example of a possible lead-in would be by saying, "So were you sad that Granddad died in hospital and not at home?" Or you could say something like, "What would you like to happen or change when your time comes?" So you can draw on your story and have the conversation on what you would want to happen or would want to avoid in a similar situation. Another way is to recount a previous experience you had. This could include where a friend's parent appeared to have a good death, highlighting they had made an end-of-life plan and their wishes were carried out by the family. For example, the conversation starter could be as follows. "When my friend's mother-in-law died, she was in her 80s, suffering dementia, and died at home, surrounded by her immediate family, as she had wished for." You can expand on this by stating this reduced a lot of stress and associated guilt within the family, as they were all aware of what her final wishes were. Alternatively, you could provide an example of a death that was painful and lengthy, when the family disagreed on the type of health care treatment their father should have been administered, such as when my friend's father was diagnosed with cancer. He endured several operations, various other treatments in which he endured pain and poor quality of health for months, until he was finally admitted to a palliative care hospital where he died alone. This caused a lot of stress and associated guilt within the family, as they were unsure of what his final wishes were. And based on these two examples, you could say you have decided to make an end-of-life plan. Have conversations with the family about your final wishes regarding the amount and type of medical treatment you would want to receive. You can draw this example back by saying something like, "Due to this, you have decided to make an end-of-life plan you want to talk about with them." Directly relate the conversation to your concerns. This could be achieved by you giving an example such as, "I know this is a hard conversation to have, but I want to talk about if I was seriously injured or ill, even with COVID-19, what I would want done. Or I was thinking the other day about what would happen to me, and it made me realize we need to talk about this." If you are getting some good ideas from this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. Now let's continue on to the next tip. The last tip I have for you on how to start an end-of-life discussion with your family is to use an example from a current TV program or something that is currently in the news that is being widely reported on. This is yet another way to introduce this topic by using an example based on something you had watched recently on a popular TV program or in the news, and who the person you are going to be conversing with would be fully aware of. You could begin the conversation by saying something like, "Did you watch the episode in which she or he was on life support and the family had to decide whether to turn it off or not? What would you have done in the situation if it was me in that predicament?" All of these examples I've talked about are some of the best ways to start an end-of-life conversation with your family. Remember, this is one of the most difficult topics for people to talk about. Many people will be relieved if you do broach the subject with them. Don't worry about saying the wrong thing. The key point you need to remember is there is no right or wrong way to start your end-of-life discussion. Like a well-known sporting goods brand has as its slogan, "Just do it." A question I have for you. Feel free to think about what way you would introduce the topic to your loved ones. Or if you had, let me know how it went. I'd love to hear about your ideas or experiences. Just leave your comment below. Thanks for watching. If you found today's video helpful, remember to hit the like button. If you would like to be notified when the next video is uploaded, please press the subscribe icon. Or if you are watching this on Facebook, please share. To discover more detailed end-of-life planning or retirement articles and resources, go to our website www.planwishes.com.au. If you want to watch the next video in our end-of-life conversation series, watch our next video coming up shortly. Thank you. Stay safe.